Okay guys, so question D in the source analysis is normally a compare and contrast question. This is normally one that asks to what extent one source supports another. The very first thing that you need to make sure that you write in this source is to the extent to which one source supports the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you read through the two different sources that you're going to compare and contrast in this one, which is source 5 and source 6. I need you to find information that's the same and information that's different, and you need to make a decision whether or not it supports it to a high extent or a low extent. There will be information in both of them that's the same, and there will be information in both of them that's different. You need to make a decision whether or not you think that it supports each other more or less. All right, have a read through. Okay guys, so what you should be doing in the exam when you're being asked this question is actually highlighting your source analysis sheet so that you can see where the things connect together. In my example that I've given you here, I think that the section that says that there was an opportunity for Edward VIII to broadcast his opinion to the public is said in both of them. I also think that there's a section in there that says that there was a possibility of a organic marriage, which is a marriage where he would marry Mrs. Simpson, but she would never be declared queen. So I think those are two very strong similarities between the two sources. Two differences that I think are in there that Edward said in source 5 that he wished to remain king. I didn't see that anywhere in source 6. And I also think that source 5 said something about Wallis Simpson being prepared to break off the marriage or break off the relationship, which I didn't see anywhere in source 6. All right, so when you're writing the response to this, what you need to do, first of all, the very first sentence, you must make a statement whether or not you think these sources support each other to a high or to a low extent. In this case, I think they highly support each other. There's a lot of similarities, a lot of examples that are given that are very similar, that Edward came up with ways to both marry Mrs. Simpson and also keep his throne. There are a few differences. There's a little bit more detail added in source 5 that isn't explained in source 6. So what you would do is very first of all make the decision, I think it's to a high extent, and then I give examples of how it supports, source 6 supports source 5. In this response, you need to make sure that you give an example from both of the sources if it supports each other. And then the second paragraph that you write in this, you need to very explicitly show how there's differences between the two. So you would give a quote from one source that isn't shown in the other source. Sometimes there is very, very, very distinctly different quotes or statistics given. That is highly different. So if there are statistics given that contradict each other, that is something that you can quote in the second paragraph of this differences section. Okay, so while this is only 3 marks out of 20, what I would suggest is that you give 2 similarities and 2 differences. And the very first sentence must make a statement whether or not this is highly similar or not similar or limited in the similarities. All right.